This is a demonstration of the DIY option on Online Divorce Lawyer. So what happens is that after you have completed your payment through PayPal, PayPal will bring you back to this page on our website, and this obviously is the page on which you would create your Online Divorce Lawyer account. So what I'm going to do is to enter my name along with a fake password twice, the email address I want to use, and when I click on this button, Create Your Online Divorce Lawyer DIY Account, that's what it does. And you'll see that the user ID is 36331. Here's the password that you entered. Here's the email to which your account opening email was sent. And when you click on this button, it takes you to the client login portal on Online Divorce Lawyer. Now it just takes a couple of seconds for the account opening email to arrive, and here that is. You can see the user ID, the password, today's date and time, the email address you used, and if you click on this link right here, it will take you directly back to the client login portal on Online Divorce Lawyer. Now, we're not going to log into the account that we just created because that's an empty account. It has no data in it. So we're going to log into instead a pre-existing sandbox account that we use for demonstrations. So this is the welcome page of your account. Up here will always be an appropriate welcome message, but beneath that is the What's Next section that tells you what you need to do next. This changes significantly as you move through the process. This is a very important section, the case stats section. You'll basically be filling in all of this data here at different times through the case. And basically when you fill in date of entry of judgment, you're done. So this section here is how the system keeps track of where you are. And that's what feeds you the correct what's next, the correct welcome message, etc. Every time you log in, Grok will provide you with a different California uncontested divorce tip. Those are often very good. This is your client menu. It contains a list of all of your online interview pages, and you will notice as you proceed through the online interview that whenever you complete a page, a check mark will be placed in the box adjacent to that page name. I'm going to go now to the first page of the interview to show you that there are two basic ways that you can proceed through the interview. Probably the best one is just to go logically top to bottom, complete every page as you go, and go to the next page. You click on the next button to do that. Every interview page has two next buttons, one top, one bottom. You click on one of the next buttons and it checks to make sure that you've completed this page. If you have, it saves all of your data on an encrypted connection to our US-based server, all ready for the next time you log in. And it takes you to the next page. And the next page you can see is your spouse partner's name page. So I'm going to demonstrate now what I just said. And we're going to pretend that you've just neglected to put in your first name. And you're going to click on one of the next buttons. And you'll see that it tells you right here and right here what's missing. So I'm going to re-enter Hieronymus's first name, click the next button again, everything is complete, it saves everything and takes you to the next page, your spouse's name page. And that's probably the best way to go through the interview, page by page, top to bottom. You can, however, jump around. The system does allow you to jump around. The minor problem is that some of these pages towards the end of your interview rely on data that you've entered in some of the pages at the top of your interview. So a typical event would be that when people log in, they go straight away to these child support pages at the bottom. And what you'll find if you do that is it tells you, hold on, we can't process this page without data from the marriage statistics and children of the marriage page. So before you handle this page, you have to go back to marriage statistics, fill in the requested data there, and then you'll be able to come back. So the system allows you to jump around as much as possible, but it's not unlimited. Now, when you think you are close to the end of your interview, or at any other time, in fact, you can click on Check My Interview. It'll take you to the interview check page, where it basically is doing three things here. It checks, number one, for all of your interview pages being complete, right? We're reasonably sure that they were all complete. All of them have check marks in boxes. You can also look at this interview progress bar here, which tells you you were done with your interview. So that's what that indicates. Secondly, it tells you whether there are any time-critical issues in your case. This is pretty rare, doesn't happen that much. A good example might be, let's say you have a 17-year-old child that is less than 2 weeks away from its 18th birthday, becoming an adult. So that would show up here, and it would tell you that just in case you wanted to delay for 2 weeks and not have to include that minor child on your filed petition. Quite rare. Third and final thing that's happening here is that it checks to make sure on these issues here highlighted in yellow that nothing has changed since you completed your interview. You might have completed your interview 30 seconds ago, you might have completed it 30 days ago. It just checks to make sure nothing has changed. If no answers have changed, then you just put a check mark in every box and you click on Proceed to download first batch. In most cases, there are 3 batches. The first batch is your filing batch. You file it at court to get a case number and a date of filing. The second batch is served on your spouse together with some documents, filed documents from the first batch. Serving your spouse begins your 6-month minimum waiting period. Then, in most cases, at least 31 days after your spouse has been served, to commence a 6-month minimum waiting period, you would download and file at court your third and final batch of documents, which applies for final judgment. So on this first batch download page, there are 2 options. You can download suitable for physical filing or suitable for e-filing. The main difference is this button will give you 3 copies of each document. This button will give you 1 copy of each document because that's all that's needed for e-filing. 42 of the 58 California counties presently accept e-filing in family law cases. So not all of them. Our recommended e-filer is directlegal.com. That's directlegal.com at $20 per filing. Very good. A lot of our clients have been very happy with Direct Legal. They are highly recommended. So for the time being, let's just click on the e-filing download batch. And okay, that was relatively fast, 2-3 seconds there. You can see this is a 20-page first batch. The first 3 documents, 3 pages of so of which are your written instructions. What follows, and I should tell you that all of our download batches are in the very popular PDF format, easy to save and print. Our batches include all California state divorce documents, But also, I should show you, in fact, this case is a good example because the first legal document in this case is in fact a Riverside County document, and our batches include all California and all local county documents. You're not left standing in line ever trying to fill in something by hand. Everything is included. All of these documents are fully prepared, properly prepared, accurately prepared, ready to be printed, signed and dated, and filed at your local court, either in person, over the counter, down at the court, or through directlegal.com by e-filing. Right? You can see that this is highly specialized. You can basically ask for a lot. Anything you want can be requested in our petitions. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to hit the back button. It'll take us back to return to welcome, and that takes us back to the welcome page. You'll notice that because you have downloaded that first batch, the what's next section has changed quite a bit. A lot more things in there for you to do next. You'll also notice that your menu has changed quite a bit. Your interview is still here, but it's all collapsed. You can certainly open it up, access those pages again, make changes, check on various things, but what's been added here is some download links. And you know we've already done the first filing batch, so we don't need to do that again. One thing I will demonstrate though is you don't have to just batch download. You can single document download as well. So let's say that you download the first batch and your dog eats the petition. You don't have to download the whole batch again. You come back to the single document download, you click on petition in the list, you click on download the form, and boom, there's your petition. So it will download in both batch and single document modes. Let's see what else. So you've downloaded the first batch. Let's say you filed your case at court. Doesn't matter whether you filed it in person or by e-filing. And you've got back your documents, and it contains the case number. That's a fake case number, of course, assigned by the court. And let's just enter any date as the date of filing. And what you do now is you click on Save Case Stats, and boom, it takes you directly to the download second batch page. Now, I'm not going to do that because I've already demonstrated the first batch download and single document download. But one thing I do want to do is to demonstrate the marital settlement agreement download. I told you a while back that all of our batches are downloaded in the very popular Adobe PDF format, all except the marital settlement agreement, which is downloaded in the even more popular Microsoft Word format, so that you can edit this and change it before you and your spouse sign it. The marital settlement agreement is probably the most important document in your case. It is the written agreement that contains all of the issues you've told us about in your case for both you and your spouse to sign. Later in the case, you would file that marital settlement agreement together with your third and final batch of documents to apply to the court for final judgment. When you get that back from the court, it'll have the judge's signature on it. Your marital settlement agreement has become part of your divorce judgment, and you'll have your date of entry of judgment to be entered here. Again, click the Case Stats Save button, and that will save, and you'll get a final email from us to say, congratulations, you're done. Okay, online divorce lawyer software is powerful. It is fast. You can definitely get the divorce that you want, providing your spouse agrees, through online divorce lawyer DIY option. I hope that this video has helped you to decide what to do, and I thank you for watching and for listening.